Once upon a time, there was a man who owned a small business. He wasn't anything special, just an ordinary person trying to make a living. He wasn't particularly strong or energetic, but like most people, he had potential. At first, he cared a little about his business, but he only worked on it now and then. Sometimes he'd get really fired up, especially when someone argued with him or doubted him. During those times, he'd work hard for a few hours, driven by his emotions. But once that feeling passed, so did his focus. He'd go back to his usual habits, distracted, putting things off, and avoiding his responsibilities. The funny thing was, he never felt the same way about things that were easy or fun. He didn't mind sitting in cars for long periods, going to family events, or even eating in peace. Boring meetings didn't bother him either. But when it came time to work, he always craved snacks or breaks. He found it hard to focus on his business, but when he was doing something fun, like watching TV or relaxing, he felt just fine. He told himself that there was always tomorrow to get things done. I can fix it later, he would think, or I'll start tomorrow. This way of thinking became a habit. He'd always planned big things for the future, but he never actually did them. Tomorrow became his excuse, and he clung to it, even as time slipped away. Sometimes his family would tell him his business wouldn't succeed, or that he wasn't good enough. Their words, though hurtful, would make him feel a little motivated. For a short time, he'd work harder, hoping to prove them wrong. But the motivation never lasted long. The spark would fade, and he'd slip back into his old habits, letting distractions take over again. Even as he saw the results of his choices, his business struggling, his customers losing trust, and bills piling up, he couldn't bring himself to make the final choice. He wasn't ready to focus entirely on his business and put everything else aside. Instead, he kept choosing short-term distractions like TV and snacks over the long-term success his business could have brought him. In the end, his business slowly fell apart. It wasn't one big disaster, it was the result of habits he refused to change. His customers left and his debts grew. When the business finally failed, he found himself alone with no one to help him. His downfall didn't happen overnight. It was the slow result of not staying focused and motivated. The truth is, you might be just like this man. You have big dreams, you have goals, but if you only do a little work here and there, you'll never achieve them. To get where you want to be, you must commit fully to success. It's about creating a dedicated plan and sticking to it, no matter what. There will be days when you don't feel motivated, but remember, hard work is always the answer. Remember, you're in a world where it's player versus player. Everything you want, someone else wants too, and they're going to work hard for it. So don't think you can mix comfort with success. If you want to rise above, you have to put in the hours. It's not about a few quick wins. It's about giving everything you've got, working 18 hours a day if that's what it takes, to fulfill your purpose. Success isn't a dream you wait for, it's something you build, one relentless day at a time. Keep pushing, keep grinding, and never stop until you reach the top.